Hey guys, subscribe for daily content. And if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks! What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another short little unboxing video to share with you guys. What we have here are 4 more knives from the Begg Knives Steelcraft series. The box they sent me contained way more. In fact, there are literally like 15 more knives from that box that I'm unable to show today because I want to keep this video a reasonable length. But I have 4 really cool knives to share with you guys. Some that you might be aware of and a couple that you might not be aware of. But either way, they'll all be linked down in the description so you can check them out. It does help my channel when you use those links, but that's entirely up to you. Thanks so much to Begg Knives for sending these in. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me. And please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. So the Steelcraft series has had a couple different evolutions over time. But, you know, Begg Knives, they make custom knives. They make some super famous custom knives, including the Bodega, which I've actually showcased on this channel years ago. I've also showcased many knives from the Steelcraft series, which is their production line. Now, they have had super high-end production versions of these knives in the past, made by Riot in like, you know, M390 or S35VN and titanium and all that stuff. And then the newer Steelcraft series stuff tends to be much less expensive with materials that are commonly found in a lower price point or at a lower price point. But the execution, which I have showcased on this channel before, is still extremely good. I have no idea who the OEM is. No idea. But I do want to share this stuff with you guys today. So these first 2 up here, I'm going to go ahead and get these out. I know what these are. I had to peek at them so that I could get this, you know, video done correctly. So these are the Quen. You've actually seen this exact knife on my channel before, but they sent me another one here. That is a variation that I have not seen before that I thought was really cool. So this guy is, I think, is this steel or is it aluminum? It's fairly heavy. Hold on. I thought it was all G10. Well, hold on. Boy, guys, I think this might actually be aluminum. So look at this here. This is what I'm talking about. We are looking at, this is an interesting choice of materials here. And the other 2 blades are not, it's not the same blade steel, but these guys are D2, which I know some people are going to have an issue with, but it's the same thing that I said about the Bodega. I have never seen knives in this tier executed this way. It is almost always a much simpler execution of materials. This is much closer to what we generally saw with the Begg, you know, custom knives and the super high-end production versions from the past Riot-made Steelcraft series. It's just a much, much more detailed and much more precision execution than you normally see from materials like this. This is interesting. We have, I guess, it's like wood inlaid to G10 and carbon fiber inlaid to G10. And then we have steel liners. The action is ridiculously good. Who is your OEM? I would really like to know. I really want to know who the heck is doing these. This one, honestly, is even more impressive. Now, at the price point here, a lot of people are going to look these up and see that these guys here are 120 bucks. Now, that's not necessarily ultra expensive when it comes to a pocket knife. If you watch my channel, you know what else is different? This has a double flipper. Are these both Quens? Yeah, this is a variation of the Quen, right? It has to be, unless I'm wrong. And then it has a little loop at the end. So this one actually has a few differences. Everything is gorgeous. Look at that. The texturing and the bordering there. It's really cool. The one issue that people are going to have here for the price is D2. Some people, you're going to get a few people who go, I don't really care. But you're going to have some people who are so, you know, locked into certain steels have to be at certain price points regardless of the overall execution of everything else, right? That's going to be the highlight. I can't necessarily blame people for thinking like that because I also kind of think like that, you know, and it's circumstantial. But that is going to be the number one thing here. Now, as you'll see with these other 2 models, they are not completely stuck on D2, but I would suggest a change in the blade steel. There's a lot of different blade steels that are much more appropriate in my opinion, or that are more acceptable, like for a wider population of people. Like if you asked the average like ingrained knife guy, the guy that's woven into the knife community, the average person's going to say, More appropriate still at that price point is going to be 154 cm. You could make an argument for 14T28N, right? Some people can make an argument for N690, Nitro V. There's going to be a lot of other, there's going to be some steels that are more preferable. Regardless of their potential for edge retention, it's that more premium feel like what we have come to experience at these different price points. That's what you're going to see people saying. D2 is fine, and funny enough, will actually hold an edge longer than a lot of the steels mentioned, but that's what you're going to hear, right? This other one here, which is the JVO Diamici EDC. These guys are at the same price point to my knowledge, and these are steel framed with inlays, but these guys are 14C28N. Which again is a steel that I think people prefer over D2. God, the action is just really nice on these. And we have the nice pivot collar. I think that looks like it's probably G10. Nested liners into a steel frame, which is cool. We don't normally see the heavy-duty steel frame. Not as heavy as I thought it would be for being steel, which again, I'm pretty sure it is. I mean, it's heavy enough. It's definitely steel. So on the smaller side, beautiful blade. Absolutely gorgeous satin finish on the blade. 14C28N to my knowledge. Well, it says JVO design. So this is a collaboration. Great liner lock. Great flipping action. Really nice. Very cool pocket clip. Not my favorite with the ball bearing, but it is cool and different. Nested into the frame. What I assume is a G10 backspacer. I like this black one here too. But 14C28N, while probably not everybody's ideal steel at the $120 price point, is probably a bit more acceptable. These do stand out. Whatever your opinion of the steel, right? It's likely that I agree with you, by the way. But the D2 here, I think, is probably not the ideal price point. The execution of the knives and the rest of the materials, I think, are just fine. I think the only issue here for the price point for a lot of people is going to be the D2 steel. This model here in 14C28N, probably a little better, but I think a lot of people might still prefer a change in the steel. But however you feel about that, I think most people can admit the execution here and the, essentially the milling and the texturing and just all the way around, the quality that you're getting in the knife is extremely good. And for a lot of you, you're going to say, yeah, it looks one way, I'm going to have to feel it. I can assure you, if you trust me, the feeling of the action, the tuning, and the D10, everything here is absolutely wonderful. To give you an example, if these knives were made by Kaiser and they were all 154 cm, right? And they were sitting at 120. I think that it would just be perfectly acceptable. Like if I said Kaiser, a lot more people go, oh yeah, I'm familiar with that level of quality, that level of execution. That would be priced correctly. I think these are the same, if not better, feeling overall in terms of the inlay work and just the general machine work, the feeling of D10 in action. I think they're the same, if not better, than the typical Kaiser knives we find at that same price point with, for a lot of people, more preferable steel. And what I'm trying to do here is paint a picture because you're watching this, in a rectangle, right? You can't feel it. You can't, other than through the speakers, you can't really hear it. This one in particular is just crazy, crazy nice. I do like these. It's really fun to experience the Steelcraft series line. And my ultimate, my favorite knife from this line, even though it's just D2 and G10, my favorite knife for this line that I've experienced is the Bodega. The Bodega is like legitimately, that's my favorite one. And you know what's funny? Holy moly. I've got one right here. Al the Science Pal, I just realized I still have not sent this knife back to you. Holy crap. Here it is right here. This is the most impressive execution of G10 and D2 that I have ever seen. Begg knives, if you make this out of 14C28N, or better yet, if you make it out of 154 cm, There's going to be lots of people pointing out that 154cm doesn't really perform that much better than 440C, which is generally considered a steel that is not in the same class as D2, and it just creates this massive contradiction. Fine, right? Splitting hairs on the steel, I agree, it's kind of a mess, especially in the lower tier, right? It is. But perception of the current knife market, and truthfully, 154cm is, like, in my opinion, an overall better balance. But it's marginal, right? Let's leave it at that. Let's generalize. If this knife was made exactly like this and in 154cm and you priced it at 120 bucks, people would go absolutely nuts, right? Let's say it's slightly more, 135. This is super cool. It's super cool. All the knives in the line are incredibly cool. And these are fun, right? Al the Science Pal. So sorry about that. If you still watch my channel, I still have his info, so I'll send it back. I just realized it's still on that shelf. Wow. Yeah. Okay, check out this line. Go through. They've got some awesome fixed blades as well. Really happy to actually take a look at these and share them with you guys. That's going to be pretty much it today. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex and on TikTok at _metal_complex. Watch out for the fake accounts. Apparently they've been there for a bit. That's going to be pretty much it today, guys. This will get a review, and I don't think I've reviewed the Quen yet, so actually both of them should get reviews down the road. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram. I already said that. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.